Hi, this is Vijay, and you're watching Focus and Blur channel. Now, in my past two videos, we have seen what criteria we should look at before investing in a company. Now, in this video, we are going to see how to create a watch list. Now, what exactly is a watch list? Now, it's a list of companies whose share prices we want to track. Right? For example, let's say I'm interested in company A, then I would add the company's name to this watch list. Right? So we are going to go over different sectors and we are going to see some examples and how to add companies to this watch list. So let's start. Now let's take the case of bank sector. Now in India, there are two main categories, public sector banks and private sector banks. Now, when I was growing up, it was hammered into my head that you should only open fixed deposits in public sector banks because government is guaranteeing their safety and essentially you'll never lose money. Now, the situation is slightly different these days. Reserve Bank of India has declared three companies as too big to fail. SBI, that's State Bank of India, HDFC, and ICICI. As you may know, the last two are actually private sector banks. So, as more and more middle class is getting created in India, you will see that people may be willing to pay some amount of price for accessing the private sector bank advantages. For example, let's say efficiency or customer service or technologically more advanced. So it's possible that whatever Steve Jobs had said, like convenience trumps cost, that may come true as far as private sector banks are concerned. Now, as more and more people start using private sector bank, I would say these two major companies are going to grow. So I don't think it's a bad idea to add these two companies to your watch list. Now let's take the case of aviation sector. As you may know, Indigo has more than 50% of this market. Let's see what Indigo has gotten right. For example, Indigo has purchased its planes from Airbus. So it doesn't have to face any difficulties with respect to Boeing airplanes. So you know that Boeing is having some issues for the past few years, plus even now there is a strike going on. And so other companies which are purchasing Boeing airplanes, they may have some issues. Now, Indigo also has a very vast network within India, and they do cater to some international destinations all the way to Istanbul, but they can't go beyond that. But they have purchased wide body airplanes, so eventually they will be able to reach other parts of Europe as well as America. So you can see that they will be getting more market share from the international um, market as such. For example, currently Gulf carriers are having more market share, but Indigo may have an eye on that. Now they have also started rewards program, so it's kind of a loyalty program to ensure that your customers remain your customers, right? So it's a good thing to have. You should also watch Indigo CEO's videos and see if you can get a better idea about Indigo. So overall, I would say it's not a bad thing to add Indigo to your watch list. Again, I'm not saying whether you should purchase the stock. I'm just saying it's a good stock to keep an eye on. Now that we have talked about some private sector companies, I thought why not talk about some public sector companies as well. Right. So I'm gonna take two examples. First is Coal India. As you may know that India is going to need more and more energy going forward, and most likely coal is going to be the supplier of their energy, at least in near future. So as India grows, there is likelihood that Coal India will grow as well. Now, are there any headwinds? Definitely, right? For example, many companies are moving towards renewables. Also, government may sell its stake, so you never know when that can happen. And so it's possible that Coal India um, is going to supply at least the base load going forward near future. So I think it's a good candidate for the watch list. Now, second company I would say is IRCTC. Now, this is a ticketing company essentially. So anytime you want to buy a railway ticket, you have to go through IRCTC. So they essentially have a monopoly on this. Again, so it's possible that government may sell some of its stake, or they may even allow other companies to sell tickets. But I think as of now, I find it slightly less probable. The other thing is that government may allow private trains by leasing Indian railway tracks, and in that case, private trains may have their own ticketing system. So going forward, it's possible that RCTC may not have the complete monopoly, but at least in near future, I would say it may be selling all the tickets. Now I'm aware that I have not talked about other sectors such as software or FMCG, fast-moving consumer goods, etc. But this video was mainly to show you the thinking process behind adding any company to the watch list. And you can also see whether these companies are satisfying the criteria I had mentioned in past two videos. So again, I would like to specify that I am not a government approved investment advisor. So do not purchase or sell any of the stocks, any of the companies that I have mentioned in this video. These companies were just used so that it will be easier to understand. And if you do like the video, then do share and subscribe and tell your friends as well. So that's all I had. Thank you.